Good morning and bom dia to all our Brazilian participants. Good afternoon to any Europeans present as well. Thank you for being here today. I am Anniken Reise from DLI in Germany, and I'm here today to talk to you about the European science, technology, and innovation landscape. And as I am German, we do, of course, start on time. To give you a short overview on the content we will be presenting in this webinar, my colleague Johanna Hauenschild will soon give you a short overview of Enrich in Brazil, the initiative hosting this webinar. In continuation, I will start with a brief overview of Europe, important facts and figures to clarify the dimensions of Europe, and this will be followed by a short explanation of the main European funding mechanisms and what's in it for Brazilians. The fourth chapter, EuroAccess, I will continue there with this initiative called EuroAccess to support researchers' mobility, also between Brazil and Europe. And within the chapter Diversity, 3 different projects, all of them funded by the European Union, will be presented to give you a first impression of the variety and the diversity European research projects offer. Towards the end, I will give you an introduction to the European approach to research infrastructures. And to finalize, we will show you statistics that exemplify the excellence of European researchers and institutions. We kindly ask you to not interrupt the presentation with your questions yet, as we will have enough time to answer your doubts at the end of this webinar. The webinar itself will last roughly half an hour, so we'll have 15 minutes for questions and answers. Please do also not worry about taking notes, as this presentation will be uploaded afterwards on the Enrich homepage so that you may easily access all information or links included. So I will now pass on the micro to Johanna Hauenschild, the coordinator of Enrich in Brazil, to introduce you to the European initiative hosting this webinar. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you very much, Anniken, and welcome to the participants. Good morning. My name is Johanna Hauenschild, working for Fraunhofer, and I would just present very brief a short overview about Enrich in Brazil before then coming to the main content Anniken will present afterwards. So just to give you in the beginning a broader view about the whole Enrich initiative, Enrich is not just based in Brazil. We have, besides the Enrich in Brazil, also the Enrich in China and the Enrich in the United States. This will show you that Enrich is not just only focused on this market, on the Brazilian market, but also on the other ones. To coming back on that, all 3 projects started within the Horizon 2020 calls, and the objective was to establish strategic partnerships within the 3 countries. Enrich in Brazil, very brief, we are 12 partner organizations. We are 4 partners in Brazil. As you can see on the map, we have Confab, CNI, ANPEI, and Unicampi, and we have 7 partners from Europe and 1 from Turkey. As already mentioned, Enrich is the European network of research and innovation centers and hubs. We have the main objective of our center in Brazil to becoming the main hub and contact point for European and Brazilian science, technology, and innovation actors. How we want to achieve that? We want, on the one side, really creating win-win situation for Brazilians and European science, technology, and innovation actors. We want to connect the European to the Brazilian market, but also vice versa. This is why we're offering services to Europe, but also to Brazil. How we really want to achieve our vision and mission. We have elaborated a service portfolio. We call it the Enrich in Brazil experience, or our user's journey, which started from Get Informed to provide information to Europeans and Brazilians, very basic, to get a first overview of the other market, then to find reliable contacts in the other markets, then also to provide funding possibilities, showing them which kind of calls might be open for Brazilians and Europeans. Then we have also that Get Going category, which is more like really empowering the science, technology, innovation actors with trainings, for instance, for tech transfer or innovation management. And also we have this category of Get Visible, which is more like on a customer side, consultancy services to really increase the visibility in the other market. And we have this category, it's called Get Advice, which is more like a transversal category. It's kind of giving also in all categories legal advice to our customers. Very briefly, but you can also find this information on our website. These are the 3 main services which are in the next few months we will execute or offering to customers. Next week we will have an innovation bootcamp in Curitiba for startups, entrepreneurs, and also research actors. You can find more information about it and registration on our website. We will also offering the same kind of innovation bootcamp also in Europe. This will take place in Malaga in Spain in the end of October. And we will also offering an innovation tour to Brazil for European actors, where we want to showing the European actors the great possibilities in the Brazilian market. Also very briefly, I think you can also check that more in detail on our website. As I said before, Enrich is the European network. So one of our main core is to really establish also our Enriching Brazil community, as we call it. We have on the one side our soft landing hubs, which are offering which are certified and offering, for instance, infrastructure and workspace for Europeans and Brazilians. Then we have also service providers, or actually we're looking for service providers. The call is still open, so feel free to apply for that category to really offering services under the umbrella of Enriching Brazil. Then we have on the other side the Enrich supporters, which is mainly focused also on governmental actors. And we have the individuals and beneficiaries, which are joining our services and participate in our trainings. In the core of everything, we have like our headquarters in Brasilia. It was inaugurated last year in November, and it is planned also to have branch offices in Sao Paulo and in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, just very brief. All the information you can get also on our website to get more details about topics I was presenting. You can also subscribe for our newsletter to always stay tuned about our upcoming services. And you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And now I would like to hand over to Anniken to start with the content of the webinar.
Hello again. This is me, Anniken, speaking again. Unfortunately, the presentation does just not want to carry on. I'm trying to get the next slide. There it is. Welcome to all those who have joined later on. We are now starting with the second chapter, Basics about Europe. Some facts and figures to visualize the continent to you. So this is a map of the European Union. As you can see in dark blue, the current members, light blue official candidates, and you see it's a puzzle of a lot of very different little countries. In numbers, we have 50 countries on the continent, from which 28 are still member states of the European Union and 19 are sharing the same currency, the euro. Altogether, this is 740 million people, almost 4 times the Brazilian population, sharing one economic and research zone. And as you can imagine, this gives us thousands of opportunities. At the same time, Europe is a top-ranking economy. The share in the world market for exports and of goods is around 15%, produced by 7% of the world population. The gross domestic product is also second place worldwide, surpassed only by the United States, and still ahead of China or Japan. A fact that might be new to many people is that European cities are highly ranked in the quality of living. This is an evaluation based on 39 factors, including political, economical, environmental, health, or personal safety factors. And actually, among the top 10 cities worldwide, we have 8 cities from Europe, led by Vienna in Austria, followed by Switzerland, also German cities, Danish cities. So this, of course, is leading to the assumption that the work and life conditions are very attractive in Europe. These are just some pictures to show you the diversity from the Mediterranean countries as Croatia up to the Scandinavian countries. And you see that there is a rich tradition in culture, exceptional ancient architecture, but also a very rich tradition in education and research. If you look at these 3 pictures, all universities in Europe, the University of Oxford, almost 1,000 years old, and even the first university worldwide was founded in Italy, in Bologna. So of course, the countries have elaborated a long-standing, highly developed science, technology, and innovation systems. Coming to the third chapter, funding, usually the most weighted by the participants. In Europe, we have different funds. We do have, of course, European funds, but we also have the national funds of the countries, and within each country, we do also have regional funds. All these funds together build the European research area. In this presentation, I will focus only on the European funding system, because if not, this would be too much to cover. So the one we are going to focus on now is the European Framework Program for Research and Development. Actually, it is the world's largest funding program for research and innovation. And the first program was set up in 1984 to support and foster research in Europe. The actual program is called Horizon 2020. It's the 8th framework program, and the budget is of 80 billion euros. The program is running since 2014 now, 2 more years to go, and we already have the proposal for the next framework program, which will be called Horizon Europe. The budget has been increased to 100 billion euros, and the program will last until 2027. So research and innovation is actually amongst the top 3 of the European budget areas. And the programs are highly competitive. We have absolutely no national quota, which means that the best proposals are those who are being supported. So they are of transnational character and very open for international cooperation. Looking now at Horizon 2020 and what's in it for Brazil. First of all, and most required, are the individual fellowships. Brazilian researchers are eligible for funding in this instrument under the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, as well as under the European Research Council program. If you look on the figure on the right, during the last two framework programs, FP7 and Horizon 2020, as they are called, in total, there were 1,565 Brazilian researchers who received an individual fellowship. Just to give you an impression. Regarding project collaboration, European researchers can, of course, include Brazilian researchers, enterprises, and institutions in their project consortia. But Brazilians need own funding. Until the last program, they were still eligible for funding, but this has changed in Horizon 2020. Fortunately, in May this year, May 2018, the European Union made a co-funding agreement with CNPq, CONFAB, and FINEP, finally establishing support mechanisms for European Brazil cooperation activities in research and innovation. So if you are joining European consortia, you may apply for funding now within Brazil. If you're looking on how to get the necessary information, please contact your national contact points. These contact points are a network and they are the main structure to provide guidance, practical information, and assistance on all aspects of participation in Horizon 2020 in the European Framework Program. Every European country has national contact points and also third countries like Brazil. Your Brazilian National Contact Point Coordinator is actually Professor Moacir Matucci from the University of Sao Paulo. You find his contact here. And as the individual fellowships are highly required, I do also indicate in this page the National Contact Point for the Marie Sklodowska-Curie Actions, which is Ms. Elisa Natola from CONFAB. These are not the only national contact points in Brazil. You have more thematic contact points, for example, in the field of health, but these are the major ones with whom you make contact and who will help you. As I said at the very beginning, this presentation will be uploaded on our webpage later on, so don't worry about not being able to copy now. Fourth, I'm not now going to present you EuroAccess. EuroAccess is also a European Commission's initiative to support researchers' mobility and thus their career development. They actually deliver information and services to enhance the scientific collaboration between Europe and the rest of the world. EuroAccess is a network in 40 European countries, and in some non-EU countries, as in Brazil, you have an office in Rio where two colleagues of EuroAccess are available to support and inform you. So the main activity of this office, EuroAccess Brazil, is to provide information and support to all Latin American and Caribbean researchers. They have a website and also a Facebook account in Portuguese. And they do send regular tailored information by email, for example, when a call is launched, to circulate also their publications with lists, for example, of funding opportunities open to researchers from Brazil, newsletters, and they also give presentations and info sessions all over the countries. They also support researchers on individual basis to help them turn their dream of mobility into reality. This is what the homepage of EuroAccess in the internet looks like, not the Portuguese site, but the main one from the European Commission. And as you can see, it offers four main tools: jobs and funding portal. It's an online free of charge database offering career opportunities, mainly in Europe, but also worldwide. So very useful for individual researchers, but also for institutions looking for collaborators. Partnering is of special interest to individual researchers to find EU partners, and information and assistance groups 25 offices across 40 European countries to help researchers with their arrival in a new country. EuroAccess worldwide now is also covering Latin America and the Caribbean from Brazil, the office I mentioned to you before. Here you also have the links to contact them directly. Diversity of research in Europe. Multinational projects funded by the EU exemplify a broad range of topics, a variety of countries and extensive network across national borders, and very important, a great number of partners involved, not only in universities or research institutions, but also industry, academies, small and medium enterprises. So there is a huge flow of researchers, of knowledge and know-how, and an abundance and pooling of resources and capacities. Thus, we have an enormous potential for creative solutions. I will present 3 of these to you. The first example is taken from space research. It's the mini satellite, and the project was called Peace CubeSat. Actually, before this project was launched successful, mini satellites were mostly being deployed as disposable devices just for short-term missions. The objective of this project was now to develop and test smart structures for better functioning and, very important, for power generation in space, thus improving Earth observations. So the participants in this project were 4 countries, the Netherlands, Israel, Germany, and Belgium. And this mini satellite was successfully launched last year in 2017. Total costs of this project, just to give you an idea, was of roughly 2.5 million, and the contribution of the European Union throughout the framework program was of almost 2 million euro. This is another example from the health sector called a project called Symbitron. These are symbiotic man-machine interactions in a wearable exoskeleton to enhance mobility for paraplegic patients. The project goal was to develop a safe, personalized exoskeleton so that injured patients would be able to walk without additional assistance by complementing their remaining motor functions. At the same time, this would be used to develop training environments. And actually, all the participants in the first study, all the injured people, all of them could improve their walking speed, and 2, even after completing the course, they could walk again. Participants in this project were the countries the Netherlands, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Italy, and Iceland, and it was funded by the EU with 3 million euros. One more example for a successful EU-funded project from the safety sector is the fire ROP. This project was already completed 8 years ago, but became very important this summer. As you may have followed in the news, it was an exceptional dry and hot summer in Europe with many hazardous fires throughout several countries. So this fire ROP is actually protected by a multi-layer ceramic coating and can be used as an autonomous unmanned firefighting vehicle by remote control. It can fight fires in hazardous environments, particularly where firemen are in danger. And it is thus able to enter also into the heart of fires, operate and navigate and recognize different objects, fight fire, and even remove flammable or dangerous materials. Participating countries in this case were Croatia, Scotland, Spain, and Greece. and the EU covered 800,000 euros from the total cost of 1 million. So next chapter I would like to move on to are research infrastructures. To those of you who are maybe not familiar with the term research infrastructures, these are facilities, resources, organizational systems, and services that are used by the research communities to conduct research and innovation in their fields. As these pictures show, they can be manifold, could be databases, research vessels, labs, or as the most renowned in Europe, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, as an example, called CERN. This was founded in 1954 in Switzerland, together with 21 member states. Crowning achievements of CERN has been the first proof of the existence of a Higgs boson in 2013 by Peter Higgs, who was actually awarded the Nobel Prize for this achievement. The Large Hadron Collider shown in the picture is the most powerful particle accelerator, and in CERN also the highest man-made temperatures were achieved, temperatures not seen since moment after the Big Bang. ESFRI is not another research infrastructure itself, but the acronym of the European Strategy Forum on Research Infrastructures. You may now ask why a European approach also for research infrastructures. This is to open access to the research infrastructures which do exist in individual member states so that all European researchers may have access and may be able to use them. Such a strategy forum can thus coordinate the use to avoid duplication and to trigger the exchange of best practices. Of course, they are also used for the training of next generations and to attract the best researchers from around the world. The roadmap, the ESFRI roadmap 2016, actually lists 29 ESFRI landmarks. This is successfully implemented ESFRI projects delivering science services. A very prominent one shown in the first picture here is the extremely large telescope being built this moment in Chile to be finished in 2024 by the European Space Organization. Just a totally different example is ERIC, LifeWatch ERIC, an e-science research facility for biodiversity and ecosystems by using virtual research environments equipped with cutting-edge ICT tools to share, manage, and model data. Excellence of European science. Just to give you some statistics to back this statement, the EU is amongst the top countries in absolute spending on research and development, as you can see in this figure, surpassed only by the United States and since 4 years also by China. In publications, the output has not been reached yet by any other country. The EU is still leading with about 600,000 publications per year. This is about 200,000 more than either United States or China are publishing. The Nobel Prize has been awarded since 1901, recognized as the most important prize in science. And if you see at this map, you can see that 482 prizes have been awarded to Europeans until 2016, followed by the United States with about 100 less. Patents are inventions made in the labs that have been brought to market. And Europe is also a leading region for entrepreneurship, as shown by 185,000 patent applications worldwide that were filed in 2012 as an example. Thus, more than a quarter filed by individuals from European countries, in equal share as also reached by the US, followed then by Japan and others. To sum it up, Europe is very diverse, progressive, creative, excellent, traditional, historic, attractive, but also unique, innovative, and building on clean technologies. Thank you for your attention and hope to see you in Europe. You will find here the link to our Enrich in Brazil homepage, where this presentation will be uploaded afterwards. So thank you very much for your attention. You may now ask your questions via the chat if you have any, and we will try to answer and help you. We may as well, as we are still waiting, I may offer you one more chapter if we have time, just to show you some examples of the European creativity, the rich tradition, just a few examples that have been achieved in Europe. For example, the first printing press, the microscope and telescope. The first hot air balloon was also launched in France, saxophone or the hydrogen fuel cell, and the first automobile. At the moment, for example, you may not have heard yet, is being developed the Aeromobile 4.0, a flying car, from an international team of more than 40 experts based in Slovakia. This is convertible from an automobile to an aircraft within 3 minutes, and the commercial launch is planned for within 2 years in 2020. The world record solar cell was also developed by a German-French research team in 2013 by using new solar cell structures. And another example, totally different, is the Science Slam, the prototype where the poetry slams where young scientists explain their projects in short 10-minute talks to really reach the audience, and the audience then gets to vote for the best project. This was invented and developed in Germany, and the format is beginning to emerge in several other countries, for example, also in Brazil, where the first EuroAccess Science Slam took place in 2013. Bluetooth was also developed in Europe by 2 researchers of the Swedish company Ericsson. And actually, very interesting for me, Bluetooth is the name was given after a Norwegian king called Harald Bluetooth, as he managed to unite several Danish tribes that were fighting. And the symbol is actually the runes from his name. There is the H and the B for Harald Bluetooth. That was the information behind the name. And one more example, the World Wide Web was also invented in Europe by Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist who worked at CERN, the infrastructure I presented before. And the World Wide Web was put into practice in 1993. So, no questions so far. I thank you again for your participation, As I said, you will find the information on our Enriching Brazil homepage afterwards. One more opportunity for any questions in the chat room, but if you have none, we will soon close this webinar. Thank you very much for your attention.